Well, a walk around the Guggenheim. It comes from observation of a real event, observation of a real relationship. And it's sort of vaguely related to a thing called the Nash equilibrium, which was Nash's analysis of game playing, and that often in games there's a point where which you can reach, a sort of equilibrium balance point, where all the players have a strategy that doesn't get any worse if other players unilaterally change theirs and try something else. So it is theoretically the optimal place to be in, because you cannot be undermined by other people just suddenly doing something different. And people use the prisoner's dilemma to explain quite what they mean. The prisoner's dilemma, which I'll say briefly: two people are captured, they're partners in crime, they're separated, and the police say to each one in turn, although each one doesn't know this is being said to them, is that if you confess to the crime, you'll just get a misdemeanor, but if you stay silent and your partner confesses, you'll do life imprisonment. And if you both confess, well, you'll do a short-term imprisonment, but you won't get off. Well, the Nash equilibrium for this situation is that each prisoner should confess, because even though that's not the best or optimal result for each of them, it means that if you do confess, you cannot be undermined. Things cannot be made worse for you. Whereas if you kept silent and your other partner confesses, then he goes off and you do life imprisonment. So that is a case where your strategy can easily be undermined by something the other player does. So if you confess, then at least that's the best deal you can get, and you can't get any worse for you. Well, the walk around the Guggenheim happened. A couple came to visit me in France, and they were flying back from Madrid. Now, one member of the couple was an extremely anxious traveller. I mean, very anxious, extremely nervous and anxious traveller. The other one wanted to stop off at Bilbao to see the newly opened Guggenheim Museum. But it meant a little bit of a detour, because it's not really on the way to Madrid. But the net result of these two things, wanting to see the Guggenheim and a very nervous traveller, was that they took the detour to Bilbao, but they only walked round the Guggenheim and didn't go in. So this compromise, it became law in our family very quickly, is the worst compromise for each, because the deviation is made to go to Bilbao, so the stress is not relieved from the anxious traveller, but at the same time, the person who wanted to see the museum doesn't get to see it. So, a walk around the Guggenheim, the worst compromise for each party.